All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. Just got finished this weekend with the first ever Play Fast Football Clinic. It was an unbelievable experience. Guys had a great time. The venue at the Embassy Suites in St. Augustine was absolutely phenomenal. So there will be another one. Now we got to figure out where to take it from here because it went so well and guys had a great time. So definitely going to do another one. Thanks to everybody that supported the event. Thanks to all the YouTube Play Fast customers that came. We had 12 different states represented. Guy came from New York and New Jersey and Nebraska and Michigan and Colorado and Arkansas. And there was a guy from Texas and South Carolina and Alabama and you know, obviously Georgia and Florida. And it's just amazing to me how the reach that we have through social media and the Play Fast football fans that are out there. Totally, absolutely amazing experience, humbling experience. The sponsors that we had, Dome Hats and Baker Sporting Goods, the two main sponsors that we had, and then Score Fundraising, and Joe Brighton, who's a friend of mine and was in the coaching business before he got in the fundraising business, and Bill Gordon, the owner of Score Fundraising, kind of came up with the idea that Jacksonville, Northeast Florida needs a clinic. We took it and ran with it, and those guys helped me behind the scenes. And then Just Play Football and GameStrat and DC1 and Max1 couldn't be there, but they were kind of a sponsor from far away, and we kind of pitched them a couple times throughout the clinic. So just an awesome deal. Thank you to everybody that helped. Thank you to everybody that attended. Thank you to all the speakers. We had amazing speakers. Can't list them all right now, but amazing speakers. Great venue. Everybody had a great time, so we'll look forward to doing it in the future. So now that I kind of unwound for a day, get back to doing our first video. So kind of started thinking, I wasn't able to listen to a lot of the speakers because I was running around crazy, but of the couple guys that I did listen to, I just started thinking about some things that we did during the season and what we need to kind of do different. So I started thinking about our 3-3 stack and our blitz and our movement stuff. And first thing I started thinking about was, okay, why are we in the 3-3 stack? Well, it's because it's better for our personnel, okay? It's better for my coaching staff. It's a little bit easier. The way I do things in the 3-3 stack is a little bit easier for our coaching staff to understand what they need to teach, how they need to teach it, the reads and the keys, and the coverages that we kind of tie with the different pressures that we're using, the fact that we don't switch sides and we have a left side and a right side, and the free safety is the only guy that moves. So when we pressure, we have left side pressures and right side pressures, and then we have middle pressure, so it makes it easier for the players and the coaches to kind of remember and understand. So when we start the blitz or we start the move, it kind of comes down to where the ball is. We don't really necessarily blitz the formation a lot. We don't blitz the back a lot. We kind of blitz the field, the boundary, or the middle. Is kind of the way we break it down because it's easier for my kids and it's easier for my coaching staff and myself. So it's different. When you prepare for the 3-3 stack, it's a little bit different. So it's, it causes some problems for some people that are used to seeing either straight 3-4 stuff or, 4-2-5 stuff or 4-3 stuff, even front, over front, or under front stuff. So it's a little bit different in that aspect. And then obviously, the movement options that you have from that 3-3 stack package. When you watch it in college, it's become a spread defense with all these hybrid positions and hybrid defenses and getting more speed on the field. And it's become more of a pressure package for some people or a nickel dime package for some people. But now in the Big 12 and a lot of places, it's becoming a standard defense, in a 3-3-5 because you're playing with 3 safeties and 5 DBs and not a 3-5-3. And guys are able to play it now split field coverage wise, and we play it split field coverage wise. So, you can play it with 2 high safeties, you can play it with 1 high, you can close the middle, you can open the middle. So, the 3-3 has been good to us the last 2 years. But what I started thinking about is when we move and we pressure and we blitz a little bit, I'm always on my backers or my stacks especially, get up there and come. If you're coming off the edge, get up there and come off the edge and get up and, I need you to get there. And what I started thinking about was the fact that if you've got that 6-man box with the back offset to one side and you're thinking about simple zone stuff, all right, most people when they attack that 3-3 stack to the play side of the zone, they're going to work the guard and tackle out on the 4 and 5 in the stack. And then the center and the backside guard are going to kind of work the nose to the mic. And then if it's zone read stuff, they're going to try and, sift that backside B gap and see if they can get climbed up to that stack linebacker. So when I started thinking about, even if it's, like for us, even if it's our slant angle package adding a 4th rusher, and I'm going to send the front one way and I'm going to get this stack backer up here off the edge, I was always hammering my stack linebackers on saying, hey, get up there and make sure you're able to bring it from the edge and make sure you can get there. And when they didn't, if they didn't time it up right or if they weren't there when the ball was snapped, I was always screaming and hollering at them. And then I started thinking, when they get up there, that actually allows the offense or the coordinator, whether they're a scan or a check with me team or the O-line, that allows them to start making calls like man on, man outside. And now that tackle knows that this end is coming. Because this guy's walked up there, and if we're not in a sim pressure or, a bluff look, once this guy gets up here, yeah, sure, he's going to hit it quicker, and that's what I was always hollering at him about. But now that he's up there, those tackles are able to make calls. If it's a zone read theory, this guy now knows that instead of sifting, he's going to stay on this. All right, he's either going to stay on this 4-eye and let the quarterback read this because the quarterback now knows what's happening, or you might even get to a situation where this tackle now knows, well, hell, that's my damn linebacker. He's walked up on the line. Forget about this sift. I'm going to turn his ass out, and the quarterback's going to read this end coming through the B gap, and we'll have the quarterback player blocked possibly, depending on how we're playing it and what the formations are. But hell, we'll get that stack backer blocked. Quarterback will read that 4-eye, who most times slanting in the B gap is going to be a damn chase player, so he'll go right to the back, and now the quarterback will get out with possibly the quarterback player blocked. So I started thinking about it, and I said, hell, that movement for us, or that pressure for us is probably, although the timing is not as good, but hell, it's probably better for us if this kid were to do it on the move from here. And if he's a good enough athlete to be able to blitz and read the blocking scheme as it's happening, because that won't alert the tackle or the QB that the end's coming under. If the end is good enough to play, in a thick 5 and get across the tackle's face, if he's got the speed and the athletic ability and the twitch to do it, that tackle can't alert, so he's going to try and sift the B gap. When he goes to sift the B gap, this end's going to come and blow that up and force him to block him. And then this guy, instead of being up on the ball with the quarterback ready to read it, this guy starts to move, and he's hitting it on the fly, and he's reading it as it happens. So now the quarterback sees the end disappear into the B gap, and if he goes to pull, he's pulling into our guy coming off the edge. That's a quarterback play. All right? So I started thinking about that, and I started saying, man, we should probably try and hold our blitzes and blitz from depth more, all right, because, it's a little bit more beneficial to us. And I was always screaming at kids and saying, if you're blitzing, get up there, you got to go, especially edge pressures. So even with some of our inside pressures, if you can do them from a little more depth, especially when we're talking one-back zone stuff, and obviously every play is not one-back and every play is not zone, I get it. But in a simple video like this, where I'm thinking about is saying, all right, if we're now going to bring some type of pressure on the inside, okay, if we can go ahead and kind of set the hook from depth to where, let's just say for argument's sake, we're going to keep them on the edge out there, and let's just say we're going to send the nose, all right, front side here, and from depth we're going to bring the mic down to the B gap here, and then we're going to bring the line behind them to the A gap. And like I said, in their zone scheme, okay, they are going to work the backside guard and center, so when the backside guard sees the mic coming, and the nose goes away, he's going to pick up the mic, but the mic's going to go to his outside shoulder, so it's going to force that guard to turn out on the mic, and the mic's a B-gap player, and now when the guard turns out and the center goes with the nose, here comes the stack all the way around to the A, and if we do it right, they can't full chain or pass that off because this tackle climbs to go to the stack, and when the mic shows in the B-gap first, and the guard blocks the mic, now here comes the stack in the A-gap, and now the tackle who's responsible for that stack backer, all right, he now can't get to the stack backer if we do it from depth and time it right. Whereas last year we would get in a situation where our guys would damn be up showing it, and the mic would get up here, and the stack would get behind them there, and the good teams were smart enough to figure it out, and they said, hey, full zone it out, you take the mic there, you go work to the nose, and when he doesn't come, this stack's going to become the A-gap blitzer. So they would just put the tackle on the mic, and then the guard would go from the nose up to the stack, and then the center would know that the nose was leaving there because the mic was already walked up over here. And then, our pressures, he would turn out on that, and he would turn out on that, and they would read this end who had to be in a 6-man pressure for us. He was a QB player. So when we walked up and showed it too early, we ended up getting blocked here. He would pick up this. They picked the stun up, and it didn't do us any good. So if we were able to disguise it and hold it a little bit longer with some of our pressures, okay, if we were able to hold it a little bit longer, we can create a little bit more chaos. So for us, when we run some of our bear stuff, we would go ahead and walk the line and the ram up, okay, and then we would kind of pinch the end and the anchor down to 4 eyes or whatever, and then they would kind of bust this B gap here, and then these guys were coming. But part of the issue was, as soon as we do that, everybody's alerted. They already know from watching film and everything else. They know that you know, that's our bear package, and they know that those guys walked up off the edge, and the Mike's sitting back there that we're in double eagle. And I was always busting these guys, saying, hey, you got to get up there and bring it. You got to come. You got to come. Well, shit, everybody knows what we're doing. You know? So if we could, even within our bear stuff, if these guys, we could teach them to blitz from depth, and now we could get to this and to this, work the nose wherever we want to work them, and now have these guys humming and bringing it off the edge from depth, it keeps the disguise a little bit better. So just one of the things that I was thinking about over the weekend, obviously something we haven't done yet, but something that I was thinking about that maybe I should get away from, telling these guys that they got to get up on the line and come, and they got to bring it, and especially when we're coming from the edge and when we're blitzing from the inside, the Mike and the line, you got to make sure you can get to your gap and get there. Maybe we got to be better at teaching them to blitz from depth, because if we blitz from depth, we don't really show our hand as much, and when we don't show our hand, now the movement pattern of the 3-3 stack actually becomes what you wanted it to be, because it now does become more complicated, because there is more crossing and more things that are, you know, kind of affecting the simple zone theory that I was talking about here. May not affect gap stuff as much, but you know, that might be better than blitzing from an area where we get there and we know we're going to get there, but everybody knows where we're coming from and what we're doing. So I just thought about that this weekend while I was kind of decompressing from the clinic, and thought about an idea of maybe our movements and our blitzes should come more from depth than they should closer to the ball, especially our edge pressure. So thinking about a way of maybe studying some stuff and seeing you know, how to go about teaching blitzing more from depth, even if it's going to be an edge pressure, getting a guy to blitz from depth and having the feet, the hips, and the eyes to understand that he is coming off the edge. If he still is reading through what the tackle's doing or the near back or whatever you have him reading, he's got to be able to do it full speed while blitzing. Can he react to that? So if I was walking this guy up from depth instead of walking him up, if he's going full speed and they get a full outside zone, wide zone theory, and that tackle reaches, he's got to be able to put a foot in the ground and beat that reach block. Whereas when he's walked up here and he's bringing it, it's harder for that guy to reach him, but everybody knows he's coming, so they make all their checks and all their alerts. So that was just something that I was thinking about, listening to different speakers, something I was thinking about while I was, you know, running around all over the place with this clinic, and you know, how can we pressure better? How can we make what we're doing better? How can we disguise a little bit more? And then I started thinking about our games this year and where we got into some trouble with our pressure packages, and I thought, you know what? If I do a video on blitzing from depth, it's going to make me talk through what our blitzes would look like from depth, and I'll figure out whether I like it or not. So I think I like it. I think it's something that we need to look at and figure out how effective our kids can be at it, how athletic they are, and how smart they are in reading the blocks and playing from or blitzing from depth. So something we're going to take a look at. Hopefully it helps you out if you're a movement team or a blitz or a pressure team. Obviously off of that, we would then try to sim some things and show some stuff and not pressure, which we need to do a better job of. But thanks to everybody that came to the clinic. Thanks to the Embassy Suites for hosting us. Score Fundraising, Joe Brighton for getting the idea off the ground. All the vendors that we had. Again, Baker Sporting Goods and Dome Hats and DC1 coming from Texas, and Game Strike coming from Canada, and Just Play, Scott Levin from Just Play coming up, and Max One, who did some stuff remotely to help us out, and you know, I kind of got their name out there during the clinic. Next year I think they're going to be there live. So thanks to everybody involved, thanks to all the speakers, thanks to everybody that came. Awesome experience, definitely going to do it again. And now we started doing stuff live on YouTube, so I'm going live on YouTube now, so thanks to everybody that's been watching that. So great start to the new year, got a lot of ideas, a lot of things going on, so I appreciate everybody. Thanks for everything you do for me, thanks for everything you do for Play Fast Football. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast. I'll catch you guys next time.